Hello, everyone, and welcome to Lizzy Out Loud in the Kitchen, I guess. So, I thought I would do some recipes with you guys. I love cooking, I love making things from scratch. So, I'm going to show you how easy it is to make your own food at home. And yeah, today I'm going to do dumplings. Today I'm gonna do pork dumplings. And so I'm doing it very simple. Mine is gonna be with a twist. I already made the dough. It's right here. Basically, what you need for the dumpling dough is just flour. I did a cup of flour and water. But because I'm trying to up my protein,
This looks familiar.
First thing you're going to want to do is put in a scoop of protein. Then you're going to want to add about a cup of almond milk to the mix. Then you're going to add some protein, and then I usually throw in a whole banana. Then we're going to add some protein. Now what I like to do, just for a little bit of taste, is add some protein. Then I usually add 1/2 of protein. Now of course it wouldn't really be a shake without some ice cubes. So we're going to add some protein, take some ice cubes, dip them in protein, throw them in the mix, then add some protein, and then, and only then, can you add some protein and blend?
Protein, 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 protein. I love steak and eggs and ham and chicken and cheese and nuts and clams.
I added some rice protein. Now, unless you're trying to do that, don't add rice protein because I cannot tell you how it's going to taste. I don't know what it's going to taste like. I'm trying it only today for the first time. And that's why. And I'm only telling you because my dough is brown. Yours is not supposed to be brown, unless, of course, you add the rice protein. So a cup of flour, half a cup of water, and then you're gonna knead it. Don't play with it for too long. Just knead it until it's incorporated, and then cover it and put it aside. And then you're gonna get your other ingredients ready. Now I'm doing very simple today because I'm a little lazy. It's very hot. And so for my filling, I'm just gonna do pork. I'll get it. I'll be right back.
A little later.
For my filling, I'm gonna do pork. This is 1 pound. I don't know how much that is in kgs. I don't even usually use pounds. I'm only saying it's 1 pound because that's what the package says. Anyways, so I'm doing pork, some grated carrot, some chopped garlic, some chopped onion. You can also grate the carrot and onion if you want, if you don't want too much texture. And then I'm gonna use some soy sauce in it, cumin, Chinese 5-spice blend, ginger. You can't do without ginger, and then salt and pepper. So very simple. So I'm just gonna add my ingredients. I'll do a lot of salt. And then I thought, like, while I do these recipes, we're gonna do kind of like a podcast recipe. And if I maybe wanted to talk about something in the past episode or for the week and didn't in a podcast episode, I can do that on here. So my word for the week was, that thing. I feel like we've all had those moments where you had like such a big dream. And I feel like most of those are from God, like a big dream. I'm going to be this or I'm going to do that. And then you just end up forgetting about it for some reason. Don't forget your dream. You can still do it. Circumstances sometimes, but remember that you serve a big God. I had like this revelation of God. I've been Christian for I don't know how many years. I've always been Christian, but I've been saved for maybe 6 years. I don't know. I don't remember. But in any case, my point being, only 2 years ago, don't point knives at people. Only 2 years ago, and don't do this. Don't scrape the knife on your hand. I'm doing it because I'm African, but if you are not African, don't do that. I'm just kidding. In any case, only 2 years ago did I have the revelation of how big God is. And it was in Italy, and were driving by some mountains, and I don't know, for some reason, the mountain, the way that it looked, I don't know, I feel like I'm going to distract myself. But because of the mountain, I looked at the mountain and I was like, wow, look at how big that mountain is compared to me. And I almost had like the revelation that God was telling me that's like me with Him, you know, in His plans. Now, with these spices, add as much as your heart desires. I do a lot of spice, but sometimes you don't need to do the world's spice. Sometimes salt and pepper and just a little bit of that is fine too. And that doesn't mean that you are someone that doesn't have good taste. It just means that sometimes you don't have to add that much stuff. So, yeah, only 2 years ago did I have this revelation of how big God is. And I think we tend to forget that when things happen in our lives and don't go the way we want them to, and you think like, wow, this can never be me, or that's way too big. Excuse me. Do you know how big God is? So yeah, that was my word for the week. Is I had a reminder of my plans. And obviously, I don't mean my plans as in things I wanted to do that goes against His will. There's some things that you don't even need to ask. You know that you shouldn't be doing that, or that's not God's plan, or whatever. But then there's other things that I truly believe. It can be when you were sitting in church. I remember mine was when I was sitting in church a few years ago, and I had like this big idea, and I was like, wow, okay, we're gonna do it, blah blah blah. And then a few months after that, I was like, there's just no way. How is that gonna happen? Blah blah blah. And now, 6 years later, I'm finally remembering the revelation I had from God that was, look at how big He is. Why can't I have big plans? So, yeah, that's my word. Now, if you didn't catch on to when I was adding everything to this bowl and started mixing, you need to add all your ingredients and knead just for a little until it's all incorporated. So after you've kneaded this, please wash your hands and then put your stuff away.
Much later.
So now you're gonna get back to your dough. When you start this recipe, start with the dough so it has enough time to rest in case you're playing with it for a little too long. Don't play with it too long. Anyways, so you are gonna do a cup of flour and half a cup of water, and then you're gonna knead it. That's all. Don't add extra stuff. Now, I added rice protein
Then you're gonna add some protein.
because I'm trying to up my protein levels throughout my days. So that's why, and I'm only telling you because that's why my dough is brown. Your dough is not supposed to be brown, it's supposed to be white. So don't add other stuff to it that I didn't say add.
That's right. You tell him, girl.
So I'm gonna put this there, and then you're gonna, after it's rested, it should have rested for like 30 minutes, maybe more. I don't know. I just do mine for 30 minutes. Again, I don't follow recipes. So you're gonna take your dough, flour your surface, and then you're just gonna knead it like this. Don't knead it actually, just spread it out. And then you're gonna get a knife or something, and you're just gonna, it doesn't have to be a knife. It doesn't even have to be something too sharp. And then you're gonna just cut it into equal parts. Okay, so I have 2, 6, 8, 10, 12. Okay, so I have 12. And you're gonna form them into little shapes like this. And then, yeah, just keep doing that. Caleb, are you gonna cut to like until I have them in 12?
Okay.
Now that you have them in 12 bowl shapes, you're gonna roll them out a little bit. If you need flour, you can do that. If you can also use some water, but leave the water more for the sealing.
What?
So you're gonna do like tap it and then you're gonna just roll it out. If it's too thick and you see that you have like smaller shapes, you can take some of the dough from this one and add it to there.
Much later.
So your dumpling wrappers don't have to be like a perfect shape. See, this one is a little bigger, so it's gonna be a big guy. And you're gonna take your filling like a tablespoon and then just take some filling, if it will come off, and then put it in the center. And then you are gonna do this. You're gonna hold it up. Put it in the center, put the thing in your hand like this, put it in the center, and then pull these parts up. And look at what it looks like now. Now you're just gonna press on it like that, squeeze it. See? Very simple and easy. So, and you're gonna repeat that with everything, with the rest of the 12. So I'm gonna do these 3 and then just speed ahead. So this is gonna be like a smaller one. And remember, don't add a bunch of filling into it. Like if it's too much, take some out because it's gonna pop open when you're cooking it. And then it's not gonna be right, and then you're gonna say that I didn't show you the right way to do it, and we're not gonna do that. So do it the right way, like I'm showing you now. Okay, so here's a smaller one. I'm just gonna wipe my hands.
Much later. Later that same evening.
If you want them all the same size, just take some dough from the bigger ones and add them to the smaller ones. There we go. Do you see it? That's what it's supposed to look like. Now do that with the rest of the 12. I've now filled all the dumplings and I have 12, so a cup of flour will make 12. And then I reached for the pan, not to smack you because you did something wrong. But that's what we're going to be using to fry them. So you're gonna take a little bit of oil. I used sesame oil. If you don't have sesame oil, you can use regular vegetable oil, olive oil, whatever oil you have. Don't use coconut oil or any other flavored oil, please. In any case, so you're just gonna add a little bit of oil. Okay, not the world's oil. You don't need so much. You just need a little bit. You're gonna add a little bit of oil and then you're gonna add your dumplings and make sure the oil does get a little, like, it has to be hot. Not hot to the point that you can see smoke coming from the pan. It just has to be hot to the point that when you drop your dumplings in, it sizzles, okay? So when you hear that sizzle, let it go for like a minute and then add a little bit of water. I would say like about half a cup. What is that? I don't know, but in any case, so add that much water and then cover it. Now, if for some reason your dough is a little thicker, add half a cup of water and then you cover it, okay, and let it cook until the water cooks out or evaporates or whatever you want to call it. And then after that, your dumplings are ready. Now, I think I tried it. I definitely tried it. You can plate it up, make it look pretty. Again, in this video, this was very simple. And it was basically just to show you how simple it can be, and you don't have to use like the best ingredients or whatever. It can literally just be that simple. So once your dumplings are ready, mine look like this. Yours should be lighter than this. They shouldn't be brown. But you're gonna take your sauce and add it to the top, like as much as you want, or you can dip it. I also did some eggs. Fry what you made, and it should be good because I showed you how to do it. I'm just gonna dip one more time. Mm, it's pretty good. I don't really taste the rice protein, which is perfect, but very good. You should try. And if you do try it, tell me that you tried it, how it went. I want to hear everything. If it didn't turn out exactly right, tell me what you did wrong. I'll scold you and then I'll tell you how to do it right. But if you stayed until this part, then thank you for joining me. I'm going to be making lunches, dinners, whatever, and I'd love it if you could join me. So, yeah, let me know if you're going to make it, if you're not going to make it, if it looks like too much work for you. If it does look like too much work for you, then you're very lazy. Join me again next week for Cooking Out Loud with Lizzy. I came up with that just now.